The exact system to go from $0 to over $100,000 with print on demand, building a brand. That is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm bringing with me today over 12 years of print on demand experience and tens of thousands of sales. There is a lot to unpack here, and I'm going to go through the entire process step by step. I'm going to make this very, very structured. The reason why I'm making this video so structured is because it's based off of my brand new training that lives inside my print on demand community. On the left hand side, we can see the community training, and on the right hand side, this is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. This is going to be amazing. So let's start at the very beginning with $0. Right, we're making absolutely nothing. The first thing we need to do is find a niche. Okay, this is a list of niche ideas. I know a lot of it is blocked out at the moment. That's only because I give the full unblocked PDF inside the community, but I've kept this one here just for argument's sake, the gym niche, right? What makes a good niche? Let's discuss that. And then let's talk about passion versus data and final checks to validate the niche. And we're going to go through every step of the entire business. And by the end, you will see exactly what is required to be able to make over $100,000 with print on demand. So what makes a good niche? Well, there's so much that makes a good niche, but the most important thing is, are there customers that are willing to buy, right? So if we've got customers here, whatever that niche is, can we sell to them? Yes or no? If there aren't customers, then it's probably not a very good niche, right? The next thing we need to establish is, are there proven designs that are getting sales in that niche? Because if you're thinking, oh, I've thought of a brilliant idea and it's brand new, I can't find any designs in it, so it's an untapped market, that isn't a good thing in this case. Now, if you were inventing a brand new product, whatever it could be, then fine, an untapped market might be good. But when we're trying to sell t-shirts are very basic, bog standard product. We want to make sure that there is a group of people out there that will buy our t-shirt. And the best way to validate a niche is to see if there's anyone already doing it. So for example, the gym niche. That's just not how you spell gym. The gym niche. Are there going to be people selling gym related t-shirts? 100%. Could we find those on Etsy, Amazon, Google, and competition sites? 100%. Brilliant. Okay, so that kind of tells us the gym niche is good. Of course, we'd actually do that research on the computer. We're not just going to think it. We're going to do deep research into that niche using AI, using Google, using Etsy and Amazon, and various other websites. The next is passion versus data. What is more important? I'm going to argue that they're both important. And I want you to think of it like this. Here is a scale. This is the passion side. This is the data side. So a lot of the time, what I see happen is someone will absolutely love a niche. They'll love a hobby, they'll love a thing, right? And they fall over into this area and they think this is amazing. And they just don't look at the data. And the problem that you have is if you just love it and there's no data to back it up, it's not going to do very well. And chances are you're going to end up hating what you originally loved. The same goes for the other side of the spectrum. So let's say you think, I don't actually want to go for something I like. I just want to follow the data. So you pick something around here. What ends up happening is you pick a niche that you have no interest in. You realize, 100 designs in, I don't want to be doing this. Right? You have no passion for it. You don't know the audience. You don't know what they want to buy. You don't know how to speak to them. And you just fall out of love with your business before you even got to see any real sales, which is why going for something that is just amazing data also might lead to failure. So what you want to do is actually pick somewhere bang in the middle. Let's say you are a gym rat. You love the gym. That's great because you've got passion for it. The data's great. So the gym niche would fit right here. Let's say the fishing niche, again, would fit bang here in the middle where you have huge passion for it and the data is showing that it's going to be really, really good. It's that perfect line down the middle. That is what we want to see. Awesome. So we understand passion versus data and where we need to sit. What about the final checks to really validate a niche? Well, honestly, for me, the final checks and also the main checks are just going to be designs. Are there designs with reviews? Because reviews equals sales. Simple as that. Are there designs that are selling? Yes or no? Obviously, there's lots of nuances, there's lots of little things that you might want to consider when talking about a niche, but here I'm giving you more of an overview of going from 0 to 100K with print on demand. All right, let's move down. What comes after niche? Your first 15 designs, right? Something that is very, very achievable. I'm not asking you to make 100 designs, I'm asking you to make 15, right? And that all starts with this mood board. Mood board, idea, database, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. The point of it is it's a place where all of your research lives, okay? From your mood board, you gather designs from Etsy, from TeePublic, from Amazon, from Google, from AI, from all over the place, right? And you select your favorite ones and you put them into here, right? These designs is this over here, right? That's these ones. And from here, you then start creating. There's a few rules when it comes to designs, and this 15 design creation period of time, I've made this sound much more simple, but I have hours and hours and hours of content on how to actually create designs. Because if we think about the importance of a print-on-demand business, a successful one, designs live at the top. Right at the top. In fact, they are so far up in there, right? Nothing comes close. There is so much you've got to get right with your designs in order for you to be successful. But we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details here. So let's quickly go over a couple of key questions. Do I really need a mood board of designs? Why? And what is it? Well, as I said, a mood board is basically just a database of research, and it's great for you to have it so that you can go and look at what's working, you can get ideas, and you know what to create. Because I like to follow a rule called the 7-3 rule. This is something I made up, but it's something that has proven to work every single time. And what it is out of 10 designs, right? So you've got 10 designs here, 7 of them need to be based on data and research and not made up, and 3 can be made up, never seen before, brand new, shower thoughts, whatever you want, just brand new ideas. Why do we base 7 off of data and only 3 made up? You might be thinking, well, surely we want to create brand new concepts here. It's a nice thought, but remember what I said about data and how important data is. Of course, you can create brand new designs, and the chances of them doing well is very, very slim compared to picking designs that have proven to work, where you know the audience like those phrases, they like those graphics, they like those layouts and those fonts. It's easier for us to find 7 winners, like here, for example. It's more than 7, but to find some winners and to adapt them so that we're not copying, we're not stealing, but we are making something that we know the audience have already shown interest in, meaning much more likely to buy. And then over time, we create those 3 unique designs every so often, right? And sometimes one of them pops off and it goes crazy and we make a lot of money, but 99% of the time, it doesn't really pop off. They don't really pop off. Now, as you grow in this business, as you build the business bigger, you'll get better and better at designs. You'll get better at understanding your audience and knowing what they want, right? So at the beginning, when I say the 7-3 rule, as time goes on, that might turn into the 5-5 rule, where 5 are based on research, 5 are brand new. Then it might go and swap round. So now 3 are based on research, 7 are brand new, until you get to a point where you're getting really consistent with your designs, you're getting lots of sales, you truly know your audience, and you can actually start creating designs off of your own winners. So the research now becomes your own winners. It's brilliant. It's such a cool concept. So how can I design? What are the 3 best ways? Well, I break this down in great detail over here on day, here we go, on day 9, day 10, day 11, and day 12, right? I go into immense detail there. And on day 5, Design Foundations, this is a 2-hour video where I go into more detail than anywhere else on the internet about design and how to create specific print-on-demand designs is really flipping cool. But what are the 3 best ways? Well, no longer do you have to be a designer. You just need to understand what makes a good design. You don't need to physically be able to draw anymore. We use ChatGPT. We all know what ChatGPT is, right? We use it in a very, very specific way. And the first way I outline is using ChatGPT to adapt winners and turn them into our own designs. It's truly a brilliant way of doing it. The next is what I like to call doodle to design. Doodle to design. And this is where you can literally doodle the worst possible sketch imaginable and get AI to turn it into a print-on-demand masterpiece. And then the third way is buying. Buying designs. There is no shame in it. There is nothing wrong with it. If you go to Etsy, you can search for a niche and just put SVG after it. And what that will do is that will show you designs that you can just buy. It'll be $1 or $2 and you can straight up use them. Just make sure that they allow commercial usage, right? There is nothing wrong with buying. And there you have 3 amazing ideas that didn't need you to actually go out and draw. Of course, if you want to draw, you can use apps like Procreate on the iPad. You can draw straight onto the computer with Illustrator or Affinity Designer or whatever you want. You can use Kittle or Canva. There are so many ways to come up with designs. I like to share every single way possible, but I really am a big fan of AI if you know how to use it. If you use AI wrong, it can really screw everything up. Okay, so why only 15 designs and not 100 like I've always recommended? So if you've seen any of my content, you've watched any of my training, you know that I say create 100 designs before launching your store. Why am I now magically saying do 15? Doesn't seem like very many. In fact, that's a big difference. Well, the way I see it is like this. We have lots of different steps to building this business, and that's what I'm outlining in this whole video. But at the very beginning, the most important thing we need to do is create. Just create something. So we create 15 designs, right? The next thing we're going to do is build a mock-up. So we're going to make that mock-up, right? And then next thing we need to do isn't create 100 designs, it's test that mock-up. We need to see which mock-up is going to actually produce results for us. We don't need hundreds of designs to find a winning mock-up, because when we are doing the mock-up test, we're not trying to get sales, we're trying to get data to see which mock-up works. So what's going to happen is we're going to run our mock-up test, which could take a little bit of time. And when we are running our mock-up test and starting our business growth journey, building our brand, that is when we're going to create the next 85 designs. But the brilliant part about this is you are building the business during this process, right? You're building the Shopify store, you're building the ads, you're building the first 15 designs, you're making the mock-ups, you're doing so many really valuable tasks, right? And you're actually getting results, you're getting data. Then you go and you create your 85 designs and you launch your store, right? Well, you've launched your store already, but you launch your store with catalog ads. And we're going to get to that in a second, very, very soon. But it's just a very good way of getting up and running with your business as fast as possible. Because what can happen if you try and create 100 designs from the get-go is you burn out. You feel 100 designs is way too many designs and you just get stuck. Maybe you get stuck at design 40 or design 60 or design 80, but you just get to a point where you just can't design anymore. You're thinking, oh my gosh, this has to end, right? But by doing it this way, you break up that cycle and you actually see results before you have to go and create a whole load of designs. It's a really cool way of doing this. All right, so after your first 15 designs, what do you do next? You build the brand, right? Brand name. What should I even consider? Well, you want to just go for something very, very simple. Don't overthink it. Don't spend days or weeks on it. There's something called Namelix, and it's spelled like this. It's a great website. Highly recommend going to check it out, and it will give you a whole load of different brand name ideas based on your niche and the product that you are selling. Highly recommend going there. You don't have to spend a long time on your brand name. So what else do I need to do for the brand? Well, you need a domain, like a website, right? And you need an email. Those are the 2 main things. There are obviously other little things to do, but they're not going to be major needle movers. And how long should you spend on your brand? This is a very good question. And honestly, the answer is no more than 2 or 3 days. And over here, we can have a look and see right there, building your brand, day 16 and day 17. We get a brand fully built in just 2 days. That is what we're going to walk through with you in this new structured training. This structured training is amazing. You can see I go through every single day. It's absolutely brilliant. And I just want to quickly add as a side point, from now until Black Friday, there is 50% off the community. So from the 28th of November, the price of the community will be doubling and it will never, ever, ever come back down. It's only going to go up. So if you were on the fence, you were thinking about joining the community, you want to try this new structured approach that is so good, now is probably the best time to get in at the best possible price. Okay, moving on. So after you've built the brand, you need to then build your store, which you can see is something we do here. We build the store, right? We build the store over a few days. It takes a little bit longer than building the brand, I'll be honest with you. So what platform should you use to build this 6 or even 7-figure store? Very simple. Dropping my pen. Very simple. Shopify. Now, I know you might want to use another platform, a cheaper platform or whatever. Shopify is without a doubt the best platform for this. And if you thought Shopify was really expensive, you can get it for $1 a month for the first 3 months. I have the link down below. The link is also in the community. It makes it much more affordable and it allows you to spend 3 months building up your store, getting sales, so that when you do come to sign up for the full price Shopify plan, you're not even considering that amount of money because you're already getting sales. So yes, Shopify is without a doubt the best option. Is it difficult to set up a store? Well, that really depends on your technical abilities. Everyone's different levels, right? Some people can't even use an iPhone. Other people are tech wizards. It really depends. What we have done to try and make it a little bit easier for you is create a template. So what you'll be able to do is just install the template that we have made, which is a carbon copy of our store. And our store has converted at over 8%, which is 7 times industry standard. So we know it works. We know it's brilliant, right? So if you feel like you're a little bit tech challenged, that's absolutely fine. You can install the template. You can follow along with the checklist of what to do because we've made a whole follow along video for you and you can install it. If you know exactly what you're doing, you can still use the template. It will save you hours and hours of time. So what are some vital things that we need to consider when making a store? Well, the first thing is it needs to be simple, right? That's it. The way we look at it is there are 7 clicks to get a sale. You've got the ad, you've got the, I've got to remember these. You've got the ad, you go to the collection page, you click the product. The ad, you click the product, you click your size, you click your color, you add to cart, you go to checkout, right? And you click pay now. 7 clicks to get the sale. It should take no longer than 3 to 5 minutes, but probably not even 3 minutes for the customer, right? In order to do that, we need our store to be really simple. We need it to convert. And I've made a video on breaking down an $1 million store. And it's really good. I highly recommend watching it. It's free. It's here on YouTube. And basically, what you want to make sure your store does is turn viewers into buyers. All the fancy, flashy stuff that people add to their store, it doesn't necessarily help. The only metric we really care about on our store is our conversion rate. There are other metrics we consider like the AOV, which is the average order value, how much money people are spending, and various other things, the site speed and all of these things. But the conversion rate is simply going to tell us from how many visitors turn into buyers. If we have 100 people and a 1% conversion rate, we're going to get 1 sale. That isn't good enough. If we have an 8% conversion rate, we're going to get 8 sales. Now that is brilliant. So we need to ensure that we have a good conversion rate. Right, what do we do after creating our store? Well, we create our mock-up test, right? And this is where we create a whole range of different mock-ups. And mock-ups is the thing that a potential customer sees before actually buying the product. And the mock-up test can have all sorts of different looks, different backgrounds, different accessories, different types of t-shirts, different colors, different designs, all sorts. We want to create a mock-up test and find one that performs really well for our audience. And that is the reason behind the mock-up test. Because if you think about it, we have ads, right? And then we have our store. right? Now, people are going to see our ad over here on Facebook. We want a really good mock-up so that we can drive as many people from our ad to our store, right? Really, really simple. Now, if we have an amazing mock-up, that means it's going to cost us less money. So if our mock-up is costing us $1, 100 people coming to our store is going to cost us $100. But if we can fine-tune our mock-up and test various different things, as I said here, backgrounds, shirt colors, accessories, all sorts of things, if we can get our cost per click down to 50 cents, it means 100 people can come to our store for $50, half price, a bit like the community. And that is what we are aiming to do here with our mock-up test. We want to send as many people over to our store for as little money as possible. Once they're at our store, we then need to focus on the conversion rate and the AOV in order to actually make good money. So how many mock-ups should I make? Well, there's no magic number here, right? It can take you 10 mock-ups before you find your winning mock-up. It can take you 100. There really isn't a magic number. There are things that you can do along the way to kind of whittle that down a little bit versus having to make hundreds and hundreds of mock-ups, and we discussed that in detail. But you just want to make sure that you're creating a mock-up that is getting cheap clicks and sales, right? So what am I looking for? You're looking for a low cost per click over on Facebook, and you're looking for a high conversion rate on your store. Those are the two signs that your mock-up is good. Right, so when you're running your mock-up test, how's that going to work? Well, when you're running your ads, you tend to run them from Thursday to Sunday. Well, I like to actually run them to Monday because Monday is a really good day for me. Don't ask why, it is. Right, so I run my mock-up test from Thursday to Monday. Now, I'm not necessarily going to find a winning mock-up on week 1, right? Sometimes it can go all the way down to week 6. So you have to ask yourself now, what are you doing from week 1 to week 6? Are you just twiddling your thumbs, waiting for a mock-up to magically appear? No, what you're doing is you're running new mock-up tests every single week. So that would be 6 mock-up tests. You are testing different things. You're testing different backgrounds, different shirt colors, different designs, all sorts of things. That doesn't take very long though. You can do that very, very quickly. So what are you actually doing during this mock-up test period? And for some people it's 1 week, for some people it's 6, for some people it's 8. Don't worry, there is no race, there is no competition here. Take your time. But what else are you doing during that time? Well, you are making your next 85 designs. This is the beauty of it. You now make your 85 designs to bring it up to a total of 100. Just like I've always said, you want 100 designs to launch your store. You are still going to have 100 designs when you launch your store. The only difference is you're going to be so much further ahead. I want you to think of it like this. You've got person A and person B. Right? Person A creates their 100 designs first. Right? That's what they do. Person B creates 15 designs first and starts testing everything. So what's going to happen is, at this point, person B is going to be ready to go because he's done everything and he's got his 100 designs around here and he's going to be ready to launch his store. But person A, if they didn't burn out, right, they're going to get all the way here with their 100 designs, brilliant, and then they're going to have to create their store, their brand, their mock-ups, their Facebook ads, their mock-up test, which could take another 6 weeks, right? And they're just going to be so much further behind, all the while not seeing any results and being much more likely to give up. That is what I've seen happen to so many people, which is why I've changed my thinking and my teaching around building this business, right? So you start with 15, and then after you've done all of those things and you're waiting, doing those mock-up tests, you now have weeks and weeks of spare time almost. And I know it's not spare time. Maybe you have a job, family, commitments, whatever it is, but you've got all of this time now where you're waiting for data, right? Because that data is going to allow you to choose a winning mock-up. But whilst you're waiting for that data, you create the next 85 designs. What do you do to do that? Well, you head back to your mood board and you start doing research. You start doing creating. And if you're asking, well, how should I create those 85 designs? You already know exactly how to do it, because if you remember, back here, we went through day 10 to day 12, right? We went through 3 amazing different ways for you to come up with designs, whether you are creating them with AI, whether you are drawing them, whether you are buying them, whatever they could be. You now have so many tools in your tool belt on how to actually go and create those 85 designs. Brilliant. So that's what you need to go and do. Now, why do you have to have 100 designs on your website? What is the reason behind this magic 100 design number? Well, I'll be honest with you. If it's 100, if it's 90, if it's 110, it's probably not going to make the biggest amount of difference. 100 is a nice round number. And the reason why we have 100 is because it gives Facebook a large pool of designs to play with. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be all of these people on Facebook, and these are your designs, right? If you've got that many designs, you have that many chances of Facebook finding a winner. Let's say that's the winner. Brilliant. But very unlikely. If these are your designs, right, you've got all of here, you're giving Facebook so many more data points to be able to identify a potential winner. Once you find a winner, you know exactly what to do next. So let's say that one's a winner. You're now going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs like it, feed it back into Facebook, and Facebook know that that design has done well, that your audience resonates with that design, and you are much more likely to do well with this design. The way I like to look at it is you start here with a wide range of niche specific designs, right? So let's just put that in here. Sorry, my spelling, I'm a bit dyslexic, so my writing is all over the place. But you start with a wide pool of designs, okay? Bear in mind they are all niche focused, but they are varied, right? You've got lots of different styles, phrases, and types of emotions and all sorts of things going on in there, right? You do your first test. Let's say 2 of them end up being winners, right? So these 2 are now winners. Your next batch of designs, right, are going to be based off of those winners. So now you've whittled down that pool of randomness to more data-driven designs that resonate with your audience. So instead of Facebook finding 2 winners now, maybe they find 14 winners, right? Forget the half, whatever. Maybe they find 14 winners now. And you take those 14 winners, right, and you make similar ones to it. And all the while, you are getting to a point where you have fine-tuned what designs people want, what designs you put on your website, and you are just creating winner after winner after winner. That is our goal here. So that is why we say 100 designs. It's a big group of designs that gives Facebook a lot of ammunition to go and find potential winners. And that's where we start our first catalog ad. After we've done our 100 designs, we've added them to our store, we're ready to go, right? We go with our catalog ad. The catalog ad is a special kind of ad that allows Facebook to automatically cycle through all of your designs. So back in the day, you would have to create, let's say you have 100 designs, you'd create 100 individual ads, right? Not only would that take absolutely ages, but that could also cost you a fortune, and there's just so much to unpack there. With a catalog ad, you create one ad and Facebook cycles round your entire store. It tries all the different ads. It displays all the different ads, different times, different colors, whatever it may be. And as people resonate with individual ads, individual designs, it allocates more budget to that ad because it thinks, it being Facebook, thinks, oh, that design is performing well. Let's push it more, right? And those data points allow us to decide what to do next. So what is a catalog ad? Well, I just explained. How do we read a catalog ad data? What do we do with it? We want to find the designs that are getting the most clicks, the cheapest clicks, the ones that are getting the most love. And what should our budget be? What should we expect? Your budget should be whatever you can afford. Forget what everyone is saying. You need to spend $500, you need to spend $1,000, you need to spend this, you need to spend that. You can spend $5 a day, $10 a day, whatever you want to spend. Just bear in mind, the more you spend, the faster you will get those results. And that makes sense, right? Because if you're spending a lot more money, you're giving Facebook more money to push into your ads. So it makes sense, but spend what you can afford. So let's just say you start with a simple $10 a day. right? What should you expect? You should expect a couple of clicks. If you are using that mock-up that you've tested and it's a winning mock-up, your cost per clicks shouldn't be so high. And over time, they do come down as Facebook start learning who your audience is. Right, so what do we do after our first catalog ad? Well, we create our first static ad test. And we do that based on the winners that we find in our catalog ad, right? So this is an ad where we show a specific design with specific copy. We can show it in image form, in video form, in all sorts, right? You can go crazy with it. But the idea of this ad is we have our catalog where it's cycled around our whole website, right? And we pinpoint a couple of potential winners that we turn into their own ad. We give them their own budget. So the catalog might have $10 for the entire catalog, but these individual ones could have $10 each. So we're allocating a lot more, we're pushing a lot more to those specific designs. And how do you know what designs to choose from? Well, you're going to learn from the catalog ad, from the data, which designs are performing well. And after your first static test ad, you want to graduate them to winning ads. So let's say some of them actually start doing well. You're starting to get lots of sales. Your return on ad spend is doing really well. You know, it's becoming a winning ad. You can graduate that to your winning ads. And the winning ads are the ones that scale up your business and start making you some serious money. What happens if no ads end up being a winning ad? Well, that's when you give up, you pack it in, you close your store, and you just stop. No, I'm kidding. That's not what you do. If no ads end up being a winning ad, you've got to go back to the drawing board. You've got to make more designs. So let's say you've got this pool of 100 designs. None of them, or no, okay, so let's not say none of them. Let's say, 2 of them can graduate to testing because they're showing potential. And then from this testing, none of them, those 2 designs, don't seem to be doing very well, not well enough to graduate towards winning. What you do is you go back, right, and you make another 20, another 30. That's the thing with print on demand. Design creation never stops. You keep making new designs. I'm years and years and years into this business, and I still create between 30 and 50 designs a month. It's what I enjoy the most. And now with the help of AI, I used to be a purist where I would draw everything myself. I would hate AI, but now I'm really starting to see the power of AI. So with AI, I'm using it to create more and more designs based off of research. And at this point, I don't need to base it off of other people's research. I can base it off of my own data, my own winners. And that's just a stage that you'll get to down the line in the business. But that's what you want to do. You want to go create more. You add more to your catalog ad, right? And then from your catalog ad, you move into testing. And eventually you will come across some winning designs. Then after you've done that, you want to create your email flows. What are email flows? Well, email flows are just ways for you to get people's emails and then make sure you can try and turn them into customers with cart abandonment, post-purchase, pre-purchase, all sorts of different emails that you send customers. This is going to be new for you if you've never built your own brand, you've never sold on Shopify. If you're used to Amazon or Etsy, you might not be doing emails so much, but emails are massive. And this is something that I've built for my community that just goes to all the different types of email flows. After you create your email flows, you have to adapt top performing designs, right? So this is where you now have maybe a couple of winners and maybe even a couple of good ones in the testing. And that's when you can really start to whittle down and fine tune what you create next. Because instead of creating designs based on other people's research, you are now creating designs based on your own research, based on your own winners. And it really genuinely makes this business a game changer, because now instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall, thinking what's going to stick, you're creating designs that have proven to work and you're just adapting them. It's really, really cool. And then after that, what do? Well, we keep going, right? You can see here, we are super close now. 100K is just around the corner. More catalog ads, ones that are bestsellers, ones that are new arrivals. We go international. So instead of just selling in the US, we start selling in Canada, in the UK, in Germany, in all sorts of places. We add new product ranges, hoodies, sweaters, premium t-shirts, more and more designs, and we maintain a healthy profit margin above all else. I am so tired of people who don't have a profit margin and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're making like $1,000 or $2,000. I really care about a good profit margin. That's what you have to make sure you maintain. And just by the way, it does not stop at 100K. You keep going, you keep building this business. And that is a small look at this brand new structured approach where you can see here on the left-hand side, this is taken straight out of the community. Every single day, there will be either a video or some form of resource or guidance, a task, and every single day I'm going to be helping you get through each day, get through each stage to the point where you have your own successful business. I have never in my life seen anyone break down this business or any other business in such a structured day-by-day approach over 90 days. I've seen people do like 7-day blasts or 28-day blasts or something like that. I've never seen anyone do a 90-day, day-by-day structured approach where if you want, you can spend 1 to 3 hours a day on it. So you can have your normal job, you can have your life commitments and still build this business on the side. That all lives inside the Design Hub, which is my print-on-demand community where I can literally take you from the very beginning, 0, to well past 100K. We don't stop here. As I said, it doesn't stop at 100K. So if you are interested, you want to check it out, as I said earlier, now is without doubt the best time to get in, because between now and the 28th of November, Black Friday, the community is $49, right? It's going to be jumping up to $99 on the 28th of November, and it's never coming back down. There will never ever be this price point again. It's only going up, right? After 99, it's going to go up to maybe 129. 199, whatever it is. The more we add to the community, the more coaches we get, the more value we get, the more live calls, the more resources, the more templates that we add to the community, the higher the price gets. So now is genuinely the best and most affordable time to get in and actually make a difference. Whether or not you're ready to get started right now, or you feel like in January you want to get started and build this business, now is the best time to get in and get started with your 90-day playbook. It's going to be really, really cool. I can't wait to see you in the community. The link is down below. Hopefully I'll see you there. And yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you have any questions about any part of this video, about any part of the structure of this timeline? Let me know. I'm here to answer all of them. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.